Let's say tonight's different. Let's say tonight during the show, I start pounding them back. Pretend this is whiskey while I'm on the air. Just slugging some whiskeys. Get off the show, and I'm about half into back. I sound like Joe Biden every day. I'm driving home. And I go get in my car, and I drive home. And on the way home, I'm just trashed. And I hit this pothole, this nasty pothole that's in the road. I lose control of my vehicle, and I wrap it around a telephone pole on the way home. Now, what was the problem there? Was it the pothole? Obviously not, right? It was the booze. What if we have a serious issue on the right of allowing the communists to decide it's always the pothole? Because that is what we do. That is what we do. We allow them to decide what the problem is. And remember, they always are going to come to the conclusion the problem is you. You see, you have too many freedoms, too many guns, too much this, too much that. You shouldn't have the freedom to do this and freedom to do that. You unwashed, unruly masses, you're the problem. And the problem with that wouldn't be that bad if Republicans didn't join with them in agreeing that the pothole was the problem instead of the booze. We had 2 mass shootings recently, one in Buffalo, New York, one in Uvalde, Texas. You, of course, remember them. I don't need to go into all the details of them. And immediately, in the wake of these mass shootings, what did you see? What did you see out of Democrat politicians, the media, Hollywood? Matthew McConaughey got in on it. Professors, athletes, you name it. We had NBA coaches. It's the guns, right? The guns are the problem. The guns are the problem. It's the pothole. It's the pothole. Hey, did you hear it's the pothole? To take care of those potholes. If we'd fill in the potholes, everybody, pothole, 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 pothole. And you're sitting there saying, no. You're citing statistics about gun violence and how it's better here than in strict cities and in European places. And you're citing all these stats and you're saying guns aren't the problem. What? What are you talking about, the pothole? It's the booze. You were drinking booze. You drinking's the problem. You're sitting there screaming that as they began to once again set a completely false narrative. They create a false narrative. And once again, just like during the COVID insanity, just like during St. George Floyd, just like during 1,000 other things, the Republican Party looks around and says, I guess it is kind of the potholes. Everyone's saying it's the potholes. I don't want to get yelled at. I better agree it's the potholes. 14 Republican senators just came together for a bipartisan gun control bill. $100 million for mental health services in there. Yes, I'm sure that'll be spent well. And it, of course, expands red flag laws. And I just want to explain to you once again what red flag laws do. You, Karen, you're upset with your ex-boyfriend. You decide you're going to get back at him. You call, say he's a deranged lunatic. He may hurt someone. He may hurt his kids. This eventually gets brought to a judge. Before you know it, the police have been given authority to go kick in boyfriend's door and confiscate his weapons before he's been charged with anything, put on trial. And if he attempts to defend himself when someone kicks in his door at 1 p.m., he'll be killed and get off scot-free. And the Republican Party just decided that is a good thing. Oh, but wait, there's more. You remember the FBI just met to decide which counter-terrorist label they were going to assign to concerned parents. You do remember that, right? Parents who were showing up at school boards, the FBI counterterrorism heads had a meeting, we now know this because of leaked documents, to decide which threat label they were going to assign to concerned parents. We know the FBI planned, funded, and organized the attempted assassination and kidnapping of Michigan Governor Whitmer, and they did this to frame people on the right. We now know there were feds, lots of them in the crowd at January 6th, encouraging people to go in. We know these things. We know the FBI has officially declared war on the right. They are now Democrat activists. That's concerning, right? DOJ, concerning. I mean, the DOJ, after all, they're the ones who prompted all this FBI stuff. They got a letter from the teachers' unions, and they decided to sick the FBI on you. Do you know what the Republican response to that is? They sent a combined $1.5 billion to the FBI and the DOJ as part of this bill. Here are your senators. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell shouldn't be there anymore. Roy Blunt, Richard Burr, Shelley Moore, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Joni Ernst, Lindsey Graham. I just want to pause for a minute on Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham does this all the time. Senators have to run once every 6 years. So for the year leading up to his election, he'll all of a sudden turn into a blood red conservative. He spends the next 5 years trashing you and your values, and yet the people of South Carolina send him back to office every day or every 6 years. Hold on 1 minute. I'm going to make another point on that. Lisa Murkowski, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, Tom Tillis, Todd Young, and of course, John Cornyn of Texas. And so you don't think I'm picking on the great people of South Carolina. Let's talk about the people of my state, John Cornyn of Texas. Just like Lindsey Graham, he does these things all the time. He'll reach across the aisle and reach across the aisle and reach across the aisle and spit on your values and spit on your values and spit on your values for some more. And then when it comes to election year, all of a sudden he's to the right of Barry Goldwater. You see, John Cornyn just got elected. 2020, he just got elected. Won't be up again for 6 years. Well, 4 years now, but either way, just got elected. And John Cornyn, he had a primary, and he got 76% of the vote. 76. Lindsey Graham gets primaried every 6 years by someone to the right of him. And Republicans, not the Democrats, not the communists, Republicans, they go out to the polls and, who do we vote for? Oh, Lindsey Graham. Oh, he had a good little soundbite on Fox, didn't he, Herb? Let's vote for Lindsey again. We have got to stop pointing fingers at the communists if we lack the willpower to switch out the weapons-grade losers in our own party. I mean, I saw this picture or this little video I'm about to show you of John Cornyn getting booed by a bunch of Republicans, and yeah, it warmed my heart, but what's that going to translate into?
So let's take our country back, starting with Congress in November. Thank you, God bless you, and may God continue to bless our great state of Texas.
Good, I'm glad you're upset. Good, boo, yes, good. I even saw a picture, someone sent me a picture of a trash can. They were handing out these red lanyards with John Cornyn's face and name on it, and the trash can was full of the red lanyards. So good, that's awesome. Throw away those lanyards and boo. What are you going to do next primary season? We have got to fix the low info voter problem on the right. We like to make fun of the low info idiot communists who don't know up from down. We have a gigantic portion of our own side. They are low info and they don't care. Senators from South Carolina and Texas, those are two of the reddest states in the union. How do we have two losers from those states? We have two losers from those states because we don't care enough to get involved and boot them out. It's our own fault.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History, The Forgotten Genocide, the first episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.